Yes, man, we can hear you now. We can
Okay.
finally.
One thing we will tell you, when you go, when the angel Gabriel call you, gonna give you a bestow for you. They say, patience.
Yeah, man, you can turn the camera back the other way,
Yeah,
now, Charlie. It
you got
wasn't.
that.
It wasn't how you had your phone turned. It
Turn the
was.
phone horizontal. There we go.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
But there you go. There, you see
There
that
you go.
you that.
I didn't need
Yeah,
to do this. Keep it steady
just
now.
keep
And
Okay.
it steady.
yeah, man. I love the raglan shirt I have on, and that's the raglan that.
Yes, oh, you know the man business, so Mr. God. Yeah.
That's the zipper.
Charlie,
Front, man.
again, let me let's first I have to apologize for the little glitches, but listen, better late than never. We have an hour you're gonna spend with us. Um BBC, you would have been around, you guys would have been around together. Your
Yeah,
thoughts, I mean, a big loss to the music business. Eh?
definitely. Yeah. My
Um,
condolence to his family too, you know.
there you go. And in terms of his value though, Charlie, let me your thoughts.
Well, when I met BB, before they even formed the group, the Gaylords, because remember, Delana Stewart used to be with Boris Gardner, with the Rhythm Aces back
Right.
then. And then they formed that group, Gaylords, and I mean, like you were playing all those songs, man, and those songs are all standards, Excellent songwriter and singer, you know. Yep.
I think
I played on a few of, I know I played on a few cuts of the Gaylord's music, but we were playing on so many that I can't really give a count on which one of the songs I play on.
a lot of those songs, especially in that early period, because the pre Coxon era, they were recording at Federal, right?
Yeah, everything was
Everything
federal.
was Federal, and,
Yeah.
and when Coxon started, was what 62, 63. Coxon established Studio One, and was he recording immediately at Brentford Road? Well,
Yeah,
actually,
I
it
think.
never.
Well, yeah, Brentford Road was about 60. I think 63, like you said.
Right, 63.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah,
But
right.
but they were recording there as well, or were
Yes,
they still
yes, yes,
using
yes.
Federal?
Right. They were recording there because even the slow song that Bob Marley did, "It Hurts to Be Alone,"
Yeah, it was recorded there.
it was recorded there. Yeah.
Right. Well, when Seaton now decided, because he said he had gotten sucked into the Coxon environment, right?
Yeah.
Because Coxon recognizes writing ability, and we talked about this earlier before you came on, but he said he was writing a lot of ska and some mentor tunes for Coxon as well, and
Right.
then um, himself what sort of amp up the thing was the competition, because he was writing songs. God, we mentioned earlier, but we needed. We're glad to get back your input, because he was writing a lot of songs that were the Clash songs. Most of the songs were basically written
Yeah,
for the
man. Like
sound
songs
system.
like "Spit in the
Yeah,
Sky" and "Power."
yeah. It
You know,
wasn't written for
main
regular
consumption.
release. Yeah, it was written to give the set. Um, you know,
Some.
ammunition over the competition. Eh?
Well, um, I didn't hear you clearly on some things just now, but um, I know, like I said, he was a excellent songwriter. He was one of the real good songwriters back then. And what happened now, because the sessions I worked with BBC and all those guys was up to about 66. And then after that, I left town. That's when I pretty much headed for the North Coast,
Hmm.
So after that, I kind of missed out on a lot of the recording stuff.
But he said he was also in the North Coast, you know. He said what happened is working with, you know, with Studio One, and because I think he did some work for for at least two other studio too. But he said he wasn't making any money, and he did a little stint on the North Coast as well. Hilton Hotel, I think it was,
Okay.
um, where with Carlos Malcolm.
Okay.
Um, and then said realized that he kind of wanted to get back into the studio vibe, so he came back to Kingston, and he basically ramp up a lot of the, you know, that's when the production,
Yeah.
the mass production of, you know, written work started to come on. I think if I'm not mistaken, that is where the gay lads really hit the road running, hit the ground running at that point, and put out, because you talk about 66, 67, because Rocksteady got was what, 67, 68.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
it would be around the same time you are talking about when it came
Right.
back in.
Right. Because when Rocksteady came in, pretty much like with Opes and Lewis, Take It Easy, and all those music. um, I was on the North Coast at that time. You know, I
Mhm.
was doing shows in Mobile, and then I got back into Kingston, joined up with Sonny Bradshaw band, and then left from Sonny Bradshaw to Toral Hotel and then Playboy Hotel. Then I started covering between Mobile and Ocho Race. But so when you're on the North Coast, you miss out on a lot of stuff in Kingston, which Kingston is where all the recordings done, you know. So, um, but BB Seaton, you know, he also was selecting the artist for Coxsone.
Yeah, he talked about that as well.
Yeah, he
He
was
said,
the one who selected quite a bit of those artists because if he didn't select them, then they would never stand a chance with Coxsone.
but a big part of his addition to Cox himself was Jackie Me Too. So Jackie came in because in fact, before Jack, they were still doing some work at Federal, and he said what happened to the other guy named Campbell or Michael Campbell, who was a pianist or the organist who was supposed to play for Coxsone at Federal, and the guy never turned up,
Okay,
and
right.
so they lost the recording session, and he said turn to Coxsone and say, listen, I know a guy, and he talked about Jackie Mitu. He said this youngster was just a genius. He said the guy, he would tell BB, go up at the piano or sing a note. And him tell him the key the note was in. And him say, how this youth could do that? And then the youth could play the piano like a wizard, right?
Well, well, Jackie Mitu came in as an organist, really. That's
Yeah.
where because we had piano players, but we never had organist.
But he honed this talent on the piano. And him
Oh, he
says that
came
what
in.
yeah.
He came in, and he just was good at everything.
Yeah, himself. This youth was just a whiz, and he couldn't understand how this youngster just have all of this gift. And
The man was a savant.
yeah, it took to the organ like he was born with it, and never left Coxsone after that.
He was just one of the gifted musicians. You know, everybody have their own gift. You know, and he was. I mean, when Jackie Mitu came in, the whole style changed. You know, I mean, it's like Lloyd Nibbs when he started playing the ska. You know, because the ska started with drum bagel. Then there had a few other guys, but Lloyd Nibbs came in and instead of he played a four and the kick, he played two, and it enhanced the music much better. You know.
So, but to your point though, this was sort of his own gift to Jamaican music, BBC,
Yeah,
in
man.
terms
Like
of identifying the
Lynn
talent.
Teeter was another one.
Yeah.
It was another one that added a whole lot to our music. You know, because everybody was just playing the street, the ska, and he started doing a lot of different licks that I mean just enhanced the music. I mean, made it sound much better.
And 1968 was a very big year for, as a matter of fact, Rocksteady was now in its prime.
67, 68.
He wrote a couple of songs for Ken Booth. I'm going to play 3 of them. Say You, Lady
Yeah.
with the Starlight, and The Girl I Left. Lyricist and original. Lyricist, man can write. 3
No.
big tune.
That's why
Say You, Lady with the Starlight, Girl I
we don't
Left
say I
Behind.
love Ken Booth still.
No, it's about the man's writing ability. Even Charlie Cameron said that.
Charlie.
The man said,
Charlie,
man can
back me up,
write.
man. Back me up, man.
No, back up foolishness, Charlie.
Charlie, back
Oh,
me
come
up
on,
here.
come on, Chicago, come look.
This
Charlie,
man didn't write no foolishness. Yeah.
No, I never said that. I wanted us to play BBC song, right?
But the BBC song
But,
is song
but
like Ken
the
Booth.
man I use technicality for me and you back me up. Look how we struggle for bringing you into the show. You're supposed to come by the thing and defend me.
You sound like some kind of grateful people.
Well,
You know,
tell you.
What happened, I think, when with this program, you have to actually join up with them before they can let you in.
Oh, you mean, yeah, well, forget about that. We're good.
Yeah,
with
you have to sign.
what I'm saying is that you know, BBC wrote some. I mean, his writing skills were without question phenomenal.
DB Seaton, Bob Andy is another one too. You know.
Yeah, but we want to focus more on BB tonight.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We have great songwriters. Those two are two really great songwriters, and BBC and some of the songs they play, I didn't even know he wrote those.
All right.
So
You have just made the man wait.
You see?
Listen. Next time I bring you on this camera, watch me and you. You're gonna have to send some money
Alright,
to the Zelle account.
So let's get into the writing that he did for the gay lads, and especially There's a Fire that he specifically, Delana Stewart was one of the lead men in this song. There's a Fire.
Great singer too.
The gay lads, It's Hard to Confess. And then they did a
Joy in the
version
morning. I don't hear you say that one.
Joy in the Morning.
There you go.
Stop Making Love Beside
Yes,
Me.
man.
And the Chipmunks, yeah.
That's no you
Cover version, It's All in the Game.
Charlie, that's what I expected you to defend.
You know?
Yeah, well, I'm defending that man because
Accept my apology.
and
No
not only a
girl.
great artist but a great person.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You hear that?
And
It's
you're gonna speak
A
over
big G that.
No,
not just a great artist and a great Jamaican.
Charlie, man. The
Right,
thing is him talking about, you know. Tell him say BBC. We're talking about.
Here's There's a Fire with, big up front. All right, so
And I'm ready to dance, man.
No,
yeah, we played There's a Fire, It's Hard to Confess, and No Good Girl.
one of the things that I found just really, really intriguing is we talked about the Rocksteady era,
Yeah, man.
67, 68.
Them 2 years.
But the 2 biggest years in Jamaican music, in my opinion. Granted, the transformation from ska to Rocksteady in and of itself was something else. But it was a time when everybody out there good. All the artists,
Only the creme de la creme was allowed
Yeah.
to play music.
and more,
Otherwise,
I think what caused that too, as you say, I'm glad you make that point about the creep. Because you didn't have 100,000 studios like where you have now. You have 2 or 3 recorded studios. Those studios not going to allow nobody come in at them place and sing the rubbish and put it out. Right?
True. I agree.
So it filtered out a lot of the garbage.
and you had to pay for studio time too.
Right. Now is a whole different ballgame. But during this time, the value, the quality, only the best would I get to record.
And
It was real talent back then.
Right.
Real talent, yeah.
And the studios were not prepared to take chance with artists who not gonna Coxon was famous for telling people, Jackson, where you come here to mash up the business? Who tell you say you can sing? Eh? If anybody tell you that you can sing, come back and tell them that is lie them telling. Don't come back here until 3 years' time when you go practice. You need some practice.
voice training,
Right?
and some breath control.
Yes. But the point though is that it allowed only the better the artists them with real talent to come to the fore. Delano Stewart, you just made that point a while ago. Delano Stewart is a brute of a singer,
Great.
right? He had a small solo career, but it was BB Seaton that basically provided him with a break. And, both in terms of, well, he was with Boris Gardner with the
Rhythm
Aces, yes.
Yeah.
But the real big break came through Seaton.
I agree. Yeah.
And then, they sung together as the gay lads as well. And then he went on and did his own little solo career for a little bit as well. But just an indication of his own eye for talent, or ears for talent. You hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah. So, when a man like this drop out, he was 79 years of age.
Yeah, he would have been 80 this year.
Yeah.
In September would have been 80.
It's a loss, a huge loss, because
Still young,
he was still writing songs. He was still in the studio as well.
Yes. Like I said, he was still young, 79.
79.
when you can say, like when you're a 60-year-old and you say, well, 15 is a young man, so you're there,
Well, I can say that.
I have no comment.
We know that, Charlie.
Charlie, I have no comment because it's who you said.
Good to know that you're still backing strong.
I'm at the wicket. As long as they're at the wicket, run's gonna come. That's all we need to say. But there are some other songs that I know we haven't touched. We almost open another break again. Joy,
Accept my apology.
Accept my apology.
Joy in the morning.
Joy, yeah.
Stop making love. And for me, the biggest hit, really matter what, not because it was in the 70s, was that little song called My Jamaican Girl.
Oh my goodness.
You're my Jamaican girl.
Yeah, man. Big tune that.
Yeah.
So, he had a whole other life after he left Jamaica and moved to foreign. He went to England.
Yeah, he did. But it's interesting that a lot of this work that he was doing at the time was not over a long period of time, because he came into the business in the early 60s.
Right.
Late 50s.
Yeah, but he wasn't really recording. He actually started recording, I think it's 61, 62 he started recording, But the time span is 10 years, 60 to 90. Because all this is a 10-year span up to 72. And he dominated the studios. He dominated the charts with both in terms of his writing work, the recorded production, both as the gay lads are just writing for other people. The man was phenomenal. And then, as you said,
all of those Ken Booth songs that I just played that are very popular, and even that one from the 1970s again, to Freedom Street, he was one of the writers for that. Just Another Girl, actually he had phenomenal success with Ken Booth. As a writer.
He talked about, he said the first time when we listened to Ken Booth coming into Federal Studio, the man had this voice that he just blow you away. And he said the wickedest part about it, he was set to be recording the same day. He had booked some studio time to record a song. And the man, Ken Booth, just blew you away. So, not surprising that he would end up writing songs for somebody like Ken Booth,
And I know Charlie can attest to the nature of the atmosphere in the studio then was that good friends was made very fast, as well as enemies too.
Well, we need to.
What said Charlie about the friendships? Because you formed some of your lifelong friendships through studio work.
What? Say that again?
I said that you formed some of your friendships, your lifelong friendships through the studio.
Oh yeah. And remember the last time he came to Chicago, and we hung out for pretty much the whole day. He came to do some work with Martin International. It didn't work out, but we did hang out pretty much. He's a good guy, man, great guy, and is unfortunate, but hey, it's part of life. You're born. If you're born, then you will die. Sometime or the other. Some early, some later. But is as a songwriter, as a singer, he's got the whole thing in one package, man. Excellent.
All right, then we're at the break.
Yeah.
We'll take this break and we'll come right back. All right, we're back, and you were just regaled with "Accept My Apology" and "Joy in the Morning."
One of the things, again, BBC pointed out was that he said he had a good time at Studio One because he was making money. In fact, he was making money, three different layers of money. He was making money off the Gaylord's hits, whatever, writing and putting out the Gaylord's hits. He make that was one of his pay source. And then the Gaylords provided backup for almost everybody else who the studio. And they eat the food after that too. And then he made money as the A&R man, which you talked about that earlier, Charlie.
Yeah.
So he said he was getting 3 different weekly pay from Coxsone. So come back to your argument, God. It shows you how much the man was a businessman from long time.
A good business head.
Yeah, he understand how can I say, even though he knows a Coxsone squeeze him under the table. He was making sure that he was still eating out of all of the plate on top of the table.
Streams of income.
Multiple stream out of the thing. So, and then he talked about a couple of the people. We talked about Jackie Me too, but they also provided a green light for the Heptones, brought in the Heptones. Light Parks, he said he let through Light Parks as a member of a little group called the Termites. I don't know what kind of name that you can call yourself, but but he said the Termites came through with them. The Heptones, and of course we all know, the work that the Heptones did. Fred Locks, the Dreadlocks from 7 Miles of Black Starliner. Fred Locks would have a group. I think them the name the Lyrics, and him said them did get a letter. So that is how Fred Locks came through the gate and became a solo artist with the 7 Miles album.
Yeah.
And then himself, the big find though was the Heptones, because the Heptones as a compared to him, with the Gaylords, where they were as a vocal group with the harmonies and all of that, and
right.
them toe to toe. And then him say after a while, no, Coxsone say he no want no more of them pretty vice man that come back through the store. Pat Kelly turn up at that time and said, unfortunately, I have to close the gate. People never forgive him with Pat Kelly,
Right.
because he turned on Pat Kelly.
And Pat Kelly was great.
He said Coxsone pay him, and Coxsone tell him say no more pretty vice man come through the gate. He want some man to compete with Prince Buster, because Prince Buster lick out Coxsone tires them time.
Prince Buster and Derek Morgan.
Yeah, he said they were putting out material, and Coxsone get nervous because it challenges his position as a studio and as a studio man. So he needed material to be able to compete with them. And he said that was the reason.
But Pat Kelly did kind of get.
But then he got the Maytals.
Yeah. But the Maytals eventually, yes. But him said at the time though, because people criticize him. He said he get a whole heap of criticism for it. And all he was doing, said, man, you who pays the piper calls the tune. Coxsone tell him, say, don't want no more of them man there with them fancy voice.
But Pat Kelly get a little squeeze through, because remember he had that friendship with Winston Francis.
Yes, Winston let him into. But and then he go down with the techniques after a while too. But I think it was a case that Pat Kelly was wrong timing, right?
Right.
because on top of that, too, Pat Kelly was kind of commuting. He was in the States because he eventually came to the States, went to school, and decided that he would still want to do the music. And so he come in and out. But the techniques eventually took him in,
Right.
right? And I guess he kind of cemented himself there. But he got a lot of bad name for turning down an artist like Pat Kelly and multiple others. But the Pat Kelly one
Yes,
was
the
a
voice
big
was so
mistake.
pretty.
Yeah. So Coxon said, me don't want more of them fancy voice man in that place. Me want some hardcore because I say, see the man a kill me. Prince Buster kill me. So me need some ammunition to manage Prince Buster. Right? So, it would have been an interesting period though, in terms of the music, because by the time again the music is about to change, right?
Right. Right.
Because
Right.
reggae is now coming through the gate, and
Well, Rocksteady and then right.
yeah, because the rock steady travels right into reggae, so
Right.
there's this
Pretty
mix,
much similar. Is very similar in some ways. Yeah.
right?
And one of those songs that was kind of like a hybrid between rocksteady leading into reggae was this Big Bad song from the early 70s.
But let me say this. Let me say this. When reggae actually, when they said reggae, it was much faster, because it was like the Toots and the Maytals, you know, and Lester Sterling and Stranger Cold with Mama No Wamba, the tempo of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the style and everything was different when reggae came in. So gradually, the tempo changed, and they started calling more like it was more. They no more gone towards the rock steady, and they call it reggae. But when reggae actually started, it was very fast. The tempo was.
Yeah, Bangarang was one of the first.
Bangarang was one of the real reggae tunes. You see how fast that was. So you would dance it different, and the drummer played different. Everything was different about it. Yeah.
Yeah, but Bangarang, if you ask me, it was a calypso tune. Was a scat tune with just a slightly slow
No,
down.
no, 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 no,
No,
no.
no,
It
I'm
wasn't.
agreeing it's a reggae music, But if you
It
listen to
was totally different.
the tempo, man,
The
God,
tempo
where you
was
say,
different. It different
where you say that?
Yeah, plus it was taken from that British group. It was a
yeah,
cover version of the melody from that song
because the
with that guy,
dancing
what's
was
his name, and
different.
Afro Caribs,
Mhm.
you know.
The different reggae was like 1, 2, 3, right. It was more in that area, more than reggae was
It,
one, two, tim, tim, and a different tempo. Reggae, then the rock steady, completely different. So now with Dennis Brown and all these guys, they came closer to the rock steady rhythm, and so all of that is called reggae now.
I think we tend to look at the music. When you hear some people talking about the progression of Jamaican music, it's almost as if there's some sort of a suggestion. You would think like it's like we're playing ska. All right, we'll stop playing ska now. We're gonna do reggae. Rubbish. The music
It's all overlaps.
overlapped for a while, and then just demand phased one out while the demand rocketed up for another. Reggae, the whole by '69 we are in the reggae era, right? But
Right.
But in its infancy,
but it was
because reggae had to go through its own evolutionary
there you
process.
go.
Right.
So
Because if you listen to the reggae, which was produced in 69 to 72, is one song, 72 to about 74 or 75 is a different song.
74 was the one drop period.
And then now after 75, it took on when culture and Burning Spear and all these guys with the
Right.
Rastaman become cemented in the music and it took a whole different complexion again. So, but one of the early songs, early reggae songs, even though as Charlie says, the tempo was a bit fast.
Tempo was completely different. The style of drumming was different because as a musician and as a band leader also, um, they if I tell somebody to play the scale, they're gonna come 1, 2, pump, temp, right. That is tempo. And if I
Hi there. If you enjoyed that clip, go on over to our website at yardmedia.com, where you can watch the entire broadcast at your leisure. And while you're there, why don't you check out our other reggae music features? And before you leave, pick up some of our Jamaican reggae merchandise, and hey, don't forget to tell your friends.